Welcome back to the Webby and O'Neill channel. Thanks for joining us for another video. Plenty of Manchester United chat to get in today, as usual. So get involved, have your say in the chat, and we'll try and discuss some of your comments throughout today's video. It says carnage on the thumbnail, bit of carnage on the channel earlier on with connection issues, but hopefully we're back up and running now and you can hear us all clearly and see us most importantly. So yeah, take us back on to what we was discussing earlier on Monday night, that news about the second round of redundancies at Manchester United.
Well, it's carnage. That's what people are saying out there. We've been saying this club's been at carnage for a long time. Is this rock bottom? People think it is. I don't think it is. I think when you look at what's going on with this, with all the spending cuts, I think there's more to come. The TV revenue is major. They've looked at the forecast for the spending cuts here. They're in line with Europa League. That's how it's seen at the moment. Finances, cut. We've got Europa League. They're expecting Europa League. But I'm telling you, big trouble. FA Cup, Europa League, that's what we're in. We've got to win them. We've got to win one of them for this balance sheet to stay as it is, or we're in more cuts.
Yeah, just a brief overview of that news on Monday coming out of Manchester United. Up to 200 staff members to be made redundant after 200...
are already earmarked for redundancy, and I think quite a few have already known what's coming. It's in the pipeline, and I think there's just one or two what are going to be shocked by it. Some of these sackings, because that's really what it is, some of these sackings, I think people have been here for a long time, but this is what they're here for. To turn the club round. I'm not a lover of Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Never have been since he come in, him and INEOS. Made some mistakes, made some good moves, but these are needs must. That's how it is. This club is at rock bottom. 5 years, it says, we've been making a loss. And you have to ask yourself, what were the people doing in the background before INEOS come in? And I've said it time and time again, the people in the background, the men in suits and all that, they were all looking after themselves. And that's the way it's turned out. We're in big trouble this summer.
Yeah, I did when I got that ping on the phone from the actual Manchester United website, and I seen like a corporate transformation and like regeneration kind of words, and I thought it was something to do with like, you know, redevelopment of Old Trafford, etc. But they were proper clickbaiting us as to, you know, try and brush over that basically they're making 150 to 200 workers out of a job and redundant. But Omar Barada's justification for it is as well is basically saying that more successful clubs have smaller staff. United have become or must become profitable again after 5 consecutive years of financial losses as well. And the cuts will align with his own Project 150, aiming Manchester United to win that Premier League in 2028.
It's just another statement, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, just some of it just waffle, aligned with his previous statements. We're in deep trouble. He knows it. And I don't see any way out of it, to be honest with you, because play carnage and chaos.
Do you think these cuts are aiming at looking at no European football for next season? Or do you think there would be further cuts if we don't qualify for Europe next season, whether that's Europa League or the actual Champions League through winning that Europa League this season?
I think going forward with the money and the balance sheet and all that, it's all based on European football and it's based on staying in the Europa League. Yeah. Well, you know, it's all ifs and buts. Will we be in the Europa League? So I think there'll be more cuts. A lot of other people do. This isn't rock bottom. I keep saying it. This isn't rock bottom. It's going to get worse. You've seen what the team's playing like. Are they going to get up the league? They're going to go nowhere near. They're not going to get on a 10-game run. We know that. I'd be happy with a 2-game run, to be honest with you. So it's the FA Cup or Europa League to get us in Europe. That's where the money is. They know that. It's in the TV revenue, and we're not going to get it next year. And they're going to suffer, and people will suffer. They will find more cuts.
Every time I hear news like this, I always think back to the start of thinking, why did Sir Jim Ratcliffe just pay a premium just to have the shares that he's currently got in Manchester United and not go full whack, put the money on the table and buy the club outright? It still doesn't make sense to me whatsoever, where, you know, you look at the Glazers, they've just outsourced the business basically to Ratcliffe and INEOS, but they've also outsourced the bad PR as well of the Glazers, where Ratcliffe's now getting the brunt of it more so than the Glazers in certain sections of the mainstream media as well.
Yeah, Ratcliffe's taking the brunt of the abuse at the moment, but it's down to the Glazers, and they have outsourced it. I just look at what's going down the line with Sir Jim Ratcliffe. he's in a tricky situation. He has to do what he's got to do, but he hasn't done himself any favours. Not a lover of him. I know that, you know, a bit of water's dripping on you. And he's trying to get rid of it, and it keeps coming back. This is torture, and we don't deserve this, us United fans, because we've been loyal. And I really, really am annoyed at Sir Jim Ratcliffe and INEOS coming in and buying it, small piece, and then drip feeding us. To me, a lot of the statements what come out, it's all waffle, statement going forward. We're going to do this in the future and that. But all we see is carnage, and it should have been bought, and the debt should have got rid of, because there is a huge payment in the debt coming in the summer.
Matthew Hall, cheers for your super chat. Met Tony last season, great guy. Can't wait to see you reach 100,000 subs. That'll be great, mate. It's all down to you. Yeah. Everyone out there who spreads the word and keeps continuing to join us, get involved in the chat as well. And yeah, I still go back to every single time with Sir Jim Ratcliffe why the money wasn't put on the table. Maybe he didn't, because surely he must have seen the books at the time and thought, this is an absolute mess. What it's going to take to actually, you know, with job cuts, get Manchester United even back onto even playing field, never mind back onto the top, how much money it's going to cost, how many job cuts it's going to take. And for him then to take the brunt of all of it, maybe just didn't want to take the risk of the Glazers hanging on for another 12 months, and God knows what it'd be right now if INEOS maybe hadn't come in. I
think when United fans out there have looked at it and they've spoke about Ratcliffe, the position he's in with the percentage, and then the options there to buy more shares. We don't deserve this. This club, its heritage, everything about it, don't deserve it.
Yeah, there's a lot of yous getting involved in the chat, giving your own opinions as well. And a lot's been made as well with these cuts, the first round and this upcoming second round as well. That it's all to save money to put back into the first team, in particular for transfers in the summer. Do you genuinely think that with what's going on at the club, with what you see in reports of the financial state of it?
No, I don't see it going back into the club. I think it's to pay off certain things. I don't see big transfers this summer. I see about 3. I see more players going out. We know the players what need to be moved on, like your Luke Shaw. We know these players leaving. Will he sell Harry Maguire? Will he get any money for him? Will he get any money for Rashford? Will he get any money for Sancho? You know, and then looking at some youth players, you know, talk of Mainu, talk of Garnacho, that won't go away. The nearer the summer comes, the end of the season, that talk will not go away about Mainu and Garnacho.
Yeah, but do you expect money, though, to be spent, though, in the summertime with transfers?
I expect about...
What did we spend roughly last summer? Was it about 200 million, roughly?
I can't see 200 million being spent. I just can't see it. I hope so. But the thing is, they want to spend the money wisely. So, in other words, it's getting as many players as you can for as cheap as you can. And it's players to fit the system of Ruben Amorim, because Ruben Amorim's going nowhere. So he has to have the players. He has to be backed. If you go and look at United, you look under Mourinho, for instance, you know, he got United to second and then he wasn't backed, and then it all just went. Big bill we've got there.
We have got a massive bill. Ipswich game on Wednesday. What are you feeling towards it?
What am I feeling towards it? This is a poor United side. What to expect? God, I'm expecting a win.
You're expecting a win, or you're hoping for a win?
I'm hoping for a win. I think a lot of people are expecting a win. I'm hoping for a win. 3 points, that's what I'm expecting. Fans will be worried. I'm worried. You know, if we get the 3 points, great. But how do we get the 3 points? Based on, if I'm going to talk about football and Manchester United, how they play and the games they played, and you look at what's gone on, you know, how can I really, realistically expect 3 points when I see a team what doesn't even pass proper, doesn't keep the ball, doesn't work together as a unit, has moments in a game like we've seen at Everton. 3 points are vital, so vital, and that's what we should expect. But I'm worried. Really worried. You know, if we come out with a point, I wouldn't be shocked.
I mean, the harsh reality is win against Ipswich, then we're safe from relegation. You know, this isn't anything to do with standards of the football club, etc. This is the harsh reality and the ugly truth of what we face right now. I think we win against Ipswich, then we're definitely safe from relegation. All that nonsense and all that talk then can go away to the back burner, but that doesn't then make it all right, and how the season's then gone, and it might continue until the end of the season. But yeah.
I think what the 3 points does, it gets you out of that, staying in that competition, and then you've got the Europa League. So there is optimism there, but a lot of fans are sort of saying, well, we need to be showing as a football team, we need to be playing together, stick together, and that's not what anyone's seeing. There's no fluid football, there's no leaders on the pitch, lots of injuries in that, so there's genuine concern. So the 3 points, people want them 3 points, but they're worried, and I'm worried.
I'm worried as well, but a positive sign that I've seen from the Tottenham game and the Everton game is Patrick Dorgu. I think he looks a good player, especially a player that we need to fit in a position in the system as well. He looks like he knows what he's actually doing and what it takes, and looks like he's following the instructions, what he's being given to do on the pitch as well.
Yeah, he looks as though he knows what he's doing. I think he was second in the stats for actually having the ball against Everton.
Touches.
More touches. I think Bruno was first, but Bruno will mainly get first because he's playing left back, he's playing right back, he's playing all over Bruno. But Dorgu, it's like they look to him for a way out. So fair play to him. But I've had a conversation, couple of people. Dorgu was bought to fit in the system. So what does that really mean? We're buying a player to fit in a system is the first of many what's to come. Well, it says Amorim's staying. That's what people look at it. Well, you're buying players to fit a system going forward. What INEOS want, what they brought the manager in. So for me, Dorgu is the first. Looks decent at the moment. The first in a long line of players what have got to come in here.
Yeah, like I've mentioned a few times over the last few weeks, it's about a profile of player that they want to bring into the club. A player who can play at least 2, maybe even 3 positions, but I've got that intensity and I've got that hunger as well, which Ruben Amorim keeps on mentioning in his press conferences and interviews as well. And for me, it does look like it's going to go the way in the summer of buying younger players. You know, maybe players who he actually can mould into this system as well, more so than players who are like over the age of 30, who won't be able to adapt to it in the way he wants him to play as well, who are just a lot easier maybe to coach and maybe even to control in the dressing room as well.
I don't think it looks like. I think that is what's going to happen. We're not looking for older players. There's no value. INEOS look for value. And I just say to myself, young players, cheap, put them in there. Easy to teach how they play in a certain role, but then we can teach them to play in another role if needed under the Ruben Amorim system. But I'm going back to the game tomorrow because I am really worried about it. And one of the things I'm worried about is Kieran McKenna, who's going to be in there.
Yeah, I got a draw in his first game on it, Ruben Amorim. His first game as Manchester United manager. And yeah, he will come back. You know, like we see, it don't matter who comes to Old Trafford, though, these days. None of them come here with any fear. No team comes here feared like they're going to get battered or they're going to get played off the park, etc. Even if the Man United have more possession, you know, we've seen teams come here and then still beat us 2 or 3-0. No teams come here with fear.
No.
They come here just to play football and play their way of football. And normally it works, especially if every single player is following the instructions of the manager and putting the work in.
Yeah, you see, that conversation you just said there, and then listening to Ruben Amorim today in his press conference, it sort of worried me because he's turning around in his press conference today. Look, very relaxed, by the way. Very relaxed. He turned around. I don't feel the pressure, he says. You know, and I think to myself, how many games have we lost at Old Trafford? I don't feel the pressure. You know, he's talking about it's a new game, moving on from the Everton game. Got a lot of criticism in the press conference today. He was reminded of the criticism after the game because it was a very poor Man United side until Bruno scored. And he's turning around in the press conference so relaxed, saying, I don't feel the pressure. You know, it's baffling.
Yeah.
And you've got Kieran McKenna coming to Old Trafford, who's running out of games, who's going to go out full attack and try and win the game. He's got nothing to lose. Like I say, he's running out of games, so there's a danger he could lose touch with the bottom 4.
I don't think there is actually any pressure, and this is just me, from INEOS on Ruben Amorim this season. I think they're looking at it themselves and holding their hands up because of the mistakes that they've made in extending Erik ten Hag's contract, bringing the likes of Dan Ashworth in, 2 people who have gone in a matter of months, matter of weeks, bringing Ruben Amorim in at a time what was unsuitable as well, to implement a system with a bunch of players who were clearly not good enough to play 3 at the back, 4 at the back, 5 at the back, even 10 at the back. They're just not good enough, a lot of these players, and it's going to take a bit of recruitment, players in, players out in the summer, to make things a little bit better, or let's hope much better at the start of the season. But I do believe that first 10 games, I think it is, from the start of the season up until that international break in October, are vital for Ruben Amorim. He cannot start poor next season, because they will not allow it. They'll accept it and take some of the blame this season. But them first 10 games and next season, he has to show an improvement, not just in results, but in performances as well.
Yeah, I think Ratcliffe and his team are accepting some of the blame, because keeping Erik ten Hag was clearly the wrong thing to do. I've said it many times. Erik ten Hag should have been sacked when they first come in, clean sweep, done all the cuts and made all the nasty things happen straight away instead of drip feeding us. And then when you look at keeping Erik ten Hag, I think Ratcliffe does accept he's wasted all that money, because it's clearly showing on the pitch today. No one seems to fit in as a team. No one seems to be able to do what Ruben Amorim wants. Yes, are the players good enough? No, they're not. Clearly not good enough. And I don't just mean the players what were brought in, the players what are and it will take a long, long time and more mistakes to come going forward.
I'm going to end it there. Just talking on performance, I must apologise for the actual stream if it's been lagging today. I'm going to get back onto it in a second. I don't know if it's the internet here, to be honest with you, at Hotel Football, or a couple of settings that do need to change, as it is a new laptop that we have brought in with 2 new mics as well recently. So we'll take a look at it. So apologies for that. Hopefully, if you are re-watching it on a replay, it is a lot smoother. But I hopefully for the next live stream, it'll be smoother for you all out there joining us on a live. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back straight after the game tomorrow. Enjoy your day, and it's much appreciated if you leave a like on the video. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.